Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Gurusant Singh, and recently a representative of the Siri Akal Takht Sahib has contacted me and requested that I make a legal affidavit describing my observations and knowledge that I have of the violations of the Sikh Rehat Violations that are being carried out by the Yogi Bhajan group. Now, as many of you may know, I was in the Yogi Bhajan group for 30 years. So I have a lot of inside knowledge about what goes on there. I've compiled a lot of documents, a lot of pictures, which show proof of how the Yogi Bhajan people are violating the Sikh Rehat Violations every day. I've also followed them on social media, followed their newsletters, and that will all be part of this video that I'm going to show you. All of these pictures have not been doctored or photoshopped in any way, and the testimony that I'm going to give in this video is true and correct. Now let's get to the pictures here. So first of all, as I said, I was in the Yogi Bhajan group for 30 years. And you can see here in this photo from the 1980s, I am there on the right-hand side in the brown coat. Yogi Bhajan is over there on the left. This is a group snap from the 1980s. Now I will be reading from an actual text of the Sikh Rehat Violations, an official text. This is the Sikh Code of Conduct and Conventions. You can see here the parts that I've underlined pertinent to the violations of the Sikh Rehat Violations by the Yogi Bhajan people. It says here that a Sikh should only regard the 10 Gurus and the Guru's word alone as saviors and holy objects of veneration. A Sikh does not believe in caste, descent, untouchability, magic, spells, incantations, omens, auspicious times, days, and occasions, influence of stars, horoscopic dispositions. Goes on about what a Sikh should not do and what a Sikh should do. Down here at the bottom it talks about how a Sikh should not engage in the lighting of ritual fire and should not worship at the graves of the dead. You can read here specifically. We don't have time to read the entire text, but you can go through and read it yourself. The Sikh could not have the frontal marks on the forehead, wearing of necklaces for omens and for power and things like that. Here is a bold depiction of the Sikh Rehat Violations, some of the pertinent points there that I'll be talking about in this video, and how this Yogi Bhajan people are violating these things. Now I want to point out how one of the Yogi Bhajan leaders has been very upfront about showing their disdain towards Sikhs and traditional Sikhs, that is, and the Sikh Rehat Violations. This Hari Jivan, who I've known for 40 years in 3HO, he was the chief of protocol for Yogi Bhajan. And he says here in this newsletter from 2011, the Master Yogi Bhajan later explained to me that this was the way it was supposed to be. So it was the beginning of the switch in Sikh leadership from the Indian community to the American Sikh yogis, recognized or not. This shows the total disdain of the Yogi Bhajan people for the traditional Sikh community and the Sikh Code of Conduct. And you can see here this Hari Jivan with Yogi Bhajan with no dastar on, no kirpan at the beach. They just practice these anti-Gurmat and anti-Sikh practices with impunity. And it's about time that the Akal Takhat investigate these anti-Gurmat practices of the Yogi Bhajan people. And I think that's going to happen here pretty soon. I think it's indicative that they've asked me for a affidavit of these un-Sikh-like practices. Now, this Guru Singh is a director of SikhNet and the CEO there is SikhNet. He goes around teaching at various gurdwaras and Sikh camps. And he has been keeping Yogi Bhajan's fingernails in his gutka sab. Maybe some of you have seen this on the internet. It's just beyond the pale. It's complete beadbi of Gurbani, and he's had this article up since 2003 on the 3HO website, even though it's been made very public now, his cultish attachment to Yogi Bhajan, but he refuses to take this article down or to apologize or to go before the Akal Takhat and Punch Biari to change his behavior. He keeps these fingernails, he says, for power. He uses them as a magic talisman and thinks that they protect him. As again, is completely against the Sikh Rehat and against Gurmat practices. These are the pertinent paragraphs here. He says here, I, Guru Singh, kept the nail clippings in the napkin and placed them in my nitnap. That's the gutka sab we use for reciting our Bunnies every day. Now, the next person of leadership in the 3HO community I'm going to be talking about is this Indrajit Kaur Puri. She is the wife of Yogi Bhajan. She has been given several titles by Saba, this Panth Ratan, which is the jewel of the Khalsa. And I'm here to talk about the violations of the Sikh Rehat, which she does, and bring out the truth about her secret Murti Pujas. Now, she teaches at this camp Midi Piti, which will be happening in June. And if anybody goes to this, which I suggest you don't, but if anybody does, they should ask her about these many anti-Gurmat practices that she engages in. You can see her there in the middle of her two sons at this puja that she hosted for her husband, Yogi Bhajan, where they placed Yogi Bhajan's ashes in the Ganges River. This was written up in the Sikh Free Press by Anju Kaur, and she did a very good job where she investigated and talked to the ashram there in Rishikesh, this Paramatma Kirtan ashram, and they told her that this was a Hindu last rites ceremony that was performed by this Swami there in orange, longtime Puri family pundit. And this Indrajit Kaur took other 3HO people, you can see them there in the background, and had them participating in this puja where they immersed Yogi Bhajan's ashes in the Ganges. And interestingly enough, the SikhNet people and Yogi Bhajan people have never admitted to this. In fact, when the article came out, the Paramatma Kirtan Ashram took down the newsletter which described this event. Fortunately, we saved it on the internet, and it's a part of the record now. But these are all violations that this Indrajit Puri is involved in. Now, Yogi Bhajan started all this. You can see him here in that black and white picture on the left, doing a puja with the Swami there. This is at the estate in Los Angeles, one of his residences. And then the Yogi Bhajan people have followed up by more violations of the Sikh Rehat. This Gurmukh Kaur hosting this completely Hindu wedding there in Rishikesh, and she brings the 3HO people over there. This famous singer Sanatana Kaur is involved in this Hindu artis. They're members of the Sikh Dharma International Board of Directors, like the Gurusant there in the background, that participate in this stuff. And then again, there's that puja, or that swami, I'm sorry. Again, here's the close-up of that puja. The Gurmukh there doing a Shiv Lingam puja. And you can see she's got one of these Eye of Shivas on her forehead there, that red tika there on her forehead. So again, that's specifically mentioned in the Sikh Rehat Violations. It's a violation. And SikhNet, one of the world's largest websites, supports this. They've got pictures of Gurmukh and supporting her events and articles about her. They've never spoken up against her either, doing these things. They bring this Swami there to Espanola and involved in these Aquarian Age things, which is an astrological thing. And then one of the most appalling things, and will be probably a shock to a lot of 3HO people, is that this energy Kapudi, according to these pictures, has been keeping these Hindu murtis at her residences in Espanola and Albuquerque and in Los Angeles. I was sent these pictures by a Yogi Bhajan family member. This person does not want to have their name made public yet, but it's a very credible source. And they are really concerned that this energy Puri is misleading the 3HO people and secretly worshiping these Hindu pujas at her residences. You can see how she's put what I've been told are money plants. See all those vines that are circling? Or there's a Hindu belief that these plants will get you money and prosperity. And then she's put the Guru Savans there at the feet of this Murti there. Now I recognize these pictures from being at the Los Angeles, they called it the estate there, Los Angeles, which is a Yogi Bhajan residence. And you can see here how she's well kept these closets with all these Hindu deities and pictures and sacred cloths and things like that. So this is a well-attended thing that's been going on for years and years and years. Now here she is doing a puja with Yogi Bhajan at that same Hindu ashram there, and she's wearing a tika, red tika on her forehead, Eye of Shiva. She should not have this award, this Panth Ratan award. Here's this Gurmukh getting a tika from the same Swami. They promote her events. This is a member of the Charity Kalajata getting a shawl from that same Swami. Now, Yogi Bhajan taught he should name everyone not by consulting Guru Sahib, but by using astrology and numerology. And this is direct violation of the Sikh Rehat. Yogi Bhajan here is drawing up a chart. You can see that's his actual handwriting, where he drew up this astrology chart for somebody. He used numerology to pick names and things like that. He talks right about this in the Sikh Rehat. That there should be a holy hukamnama taken, and you take the first letter of the hukam for the name of the child or whoever you're giving the name to. And so this is in direct violation of that. Also talks about in the Sikh Rehat to not consult horoscopes, but this was going on all the time. I was personally asked by Yogi Bhajan to bring Hindu astrologers and pundits to him. This Indrajit Karpudi, who's still teaching, she's a big on astrology. She would consult astrologers all the time for whatever she would do before she'd make a decision on anything. And I know, because I used to take her to these astrologers on her request. At the time, I didn't know anything about it, or that it was against Sikh Rehat. Now you can see here how the Yogi Bhajan people do this Murti Puja. This is in Espanola. There's Yogi Bhajan's picture and that Baba Siri Chand idol. You can see how they do yoga in the Dabar. This woman is actually sitting on a yoga mat that has Gurbani printed on it. And you can see how the Sri Guru Granth Sahib is there in the background. And so they have this big mural there that has this Catholic deity there in the middle of the khanda. They have the Sikh Guru Sahibans as a rosary around her. And you can see Guru Mastik Singh right there in the corner, doing kirtan with this murti there. Or not murti, but mural, I should say. These are all pictures of prostrations and worship going on at Yogi Bhajan's death place. And again, this taught specifically in the Sikh Rehat, you should not worship at the graves of the dead. This is bowing to Yogi Bhajan here. So one of the major violations of the Sikh Rehat is how the Yogi Bhajan's people still worship Yogi Bhajan. They say it's not worship, but they do everything but in a name they worship him, but in name. So they meditate on his photo. Here, as Yogi Bhajan told them to meditate on his photo. Even they had what they call this Khalsa Council, where they, in closing the meetings, they say, we did the Tritaka meditation together, and members shared how, they call them the Siri Sahib, Yogi Bhajan touched our lives. So this Tritaka meditation is this Guru Yoga, or meditating on Yogi Bhajan's picture. And this was in their newsletter that they printed here, and this is showing the top of the newsletter there. You can see how they're worshiping Yogi Bhajan. So they keep Yogi Bhajan's fingernails and parts of his garments and as relics, which is described as un-Sikh-like in the Sikh Rehat. You can see how they're bringing Guru Sahib in for precaution under this Yogi Bhajan Tantric yoga painting. Now, the Yogi Bhajan people are even proposing to build this 10-foot high murti of Yogi Bhajan. They're going to spend nearly $100,000, they say, to create this bronze murti of Yogi Bhajan, so that murti puja can be done at Yogi Bhajan's death place there in Espanola, completely against the Sikh Rehat. Now, in a legal agreement, the Yogi Bhajan people, all the organizations signed, they agreed to practice the Sikh religion only as taught by Yogi Bhajan. And these are all the organizations here that signed on to this agreement. 3HO, SikhNet, Kundalini Research Institute, Sikh Dharma International, may have heard of some of them. These are murtis that are kept there at the Espanola dera. And you can see here, this is Gurbani talking about how Sikhs do not worship Ganesha and these other idols. And these are pictures of some of the murtis there at the Espanola dera. Now, the last violation I want to talk about is really important. These Yogi Bhajan people do this, what's called Aquarian sadhana, which is required by Yogi Bhajan for all Sikhs and non-Sikhs to do every morning. So instead of doing the regular Bunnies that are prescribed in the Sikh Rehat, they do this Aquarian sadhana, which involves one meditation that is a Hindu meditation, basically. And it's called Vayanti mantra. This is the complete mantra here. It is given by Patanjali, who was a Hindu, and this is done every morning. So anybody who goes to that Sikh camp or goes to the Yogi Bhajan dera, you'll immediately see how they do this Hindu mantra. So this completes my affidavit for now. I may have more later. But I hope the Akal Takhat investigates all of this. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.